Hello and welcome to another Tech Tuesday. We're so glad you're joining us today. Today we have a great Tech Tuesday for you because we're coming up on the at the end of the first 6 weeks. So today, Miss Sherry Harris is going to lead us through a session on Skyward. So we just want to welcome you, whether you're viewing online, later on YouTube, or if you're here with us live. We just welcome you and thank you for being here. Before we get started, we're going to go through a couple of quick announcements or commercials, as we like to call them. First of all, if you don't know, we are your technology integration team. I am joined by our director, Miss Isabel Espinoza. There she is waving. And then also today I had mentioned she's going to be leading us. So I'm going to hand it off to her here in just a second. Miss Sherry Marks. She is the instructional tech coordinator, the other instructional tech coordinator. And then the other instructional tech coordinator, along with myself, is Miss Marissa Lopez. There she is waving as well. And of course, my name is Josh Voiles. I'm the least of these. One of the other instructional technology coordinators. So there's the three of us and our director. And once again, we're happy you're here. We would like to direct you to our webpage. It's midlandisd.net/itech. Um, we'll be updating that with a lot of great information, all of our district supported software and apps and resources, things like Go Guardian, Nearpod, CleverTouch. You can also find our archive of Tech Tuesdays on there as well. So we encourage you to go give that a favorite. Another thing we want you to be aware of is that also on the website, you can visit midlandisd.net/tech newsletter. You can go to that link. There's also a QR code that you can scan right there. And you can sign up or subscribe to our technology newsletter, which goes out once or twice a month. It's full of great tips and tricks, and specifically to Midland School District teachers. And as well, you can find an archive of all of the past newsletters that we have sent out on there. So visit that page as well. And then, of course, you know about this already, otherwise you wouldn't be here. But we just want to remind you that you can visit our page, midlandisd.net/Tech Tuesday, to view all of our upcoming Tech Tuesdays. A lot of people don't realize they can go on that page and view a Google Calendar of some of the great Tech Tuesdays that we have planned for the near future, all the way until next year. And as you can see, there's kind of a list of some of the topics that we're going to be covering. Sometimes we even have a lot of great special guest speakers on some of these technologies that we use. So go and give that a look at, and you can actually add those Tech Tuesday events to your Google Calendar right from that webpage. And also, if you didn't know this, you can earn credit for being with us here on Tech Tuesdays. You can earn SBEC and CPE credit. That is available in Eduphoria for today and the rest of the sessions. So don't forget that. If you're a teacher that, maybe you're trying to re-up your certification or something like that, you can always come to Tech Tuesday, and that's a great way to get that that credit for that. So don't forget that as well. Also, you can follow us on X. You can find us at Midland ISD Tech. That's at Midland ISD Tech. And there we're going to be posting not just Tech Tuesday, but all of the other great things and resources that we have going, other events or trainings that you might want to know about. So go and give us a follow. Okay, so here's the first slide of Skyward. I'm going to hand it off to Miss Sherry Marks.
Thank you, Josh. I am going to switch my sharing from tab to entire screen so that I can show you all things Skyward. So just bear with me. And Josh did just share some links in the chat. For you if you need them. Okay, so I am Sherry Harris or Sherry Marks. I recently got married, and so that is the reason why he introduced me as Sherry Harris. But my name on that little commercial did say Sherry Marks.
I apologize. I'm still trying to get used to your new last name.
Same here. Okay, so we are going to go over Skyward Student today. With it being the end of the 6 weeks, we're going to go through to make sure that you know how to find resources for Skyward, how to log into Skyward, setting up your categories, what happens when you have a new student, and as well as what happens when the gray period changes or ends, and you need to update grades. Okay, so the first one is Skyward Student Login. You can do this one of two ways, which are the easiest ways. You can simply go through the waffle. If you click on the waffle here, go all the way down. You have two Skywards. It is the blue Skyward. Skyward Student is your grade book and everything like this or like that. This is, I'm going to go into the training database, but this is what mine looks like. If you notice that mine's pink, I have changed my preferences on this. I like my favorite color's pink, so but you can change it blue, green, red, black. I'm going to leave it as pink. And there's all kinds of different settings that you can actually use. Or if you don't want to see something such as disable student indicators, if you don't want to see those, I don't recommend you actually clicking that one, but it's just a example. And save. So like I said, this is the live site. I'm not going to be in this one right now. And then you can also get to Skyward Student on the waffle, or not on the waffle, I just said the waffle. On Class Link, it's the blue Skyward, and it should be on your Class Link. Okay, so I'm going to go straight into the dashboard. Because it's the training site, I actually can't show you all of it, so I'm just going to stick on this for right now. So there's two major things that I want to cover here. That is the widgets and this Educator Access Plus. So Educator Access Plus, it's on every single teacher screen. If you scroll all the way down to the bottom, you will see that, and it has helpful videos. It also has different links to different guides that we have created for y'all. I guess I haven't created them because I'm no longer part of that department. But I'm part of this grade department. But that's why I'm doing this training today. And then we have widgets. So your widgets are going to be what you want to see on your home screen. So for example, mine were the ones that I like to see is district news. I have my favorites selected as well as recent programs. Actually, let me go back to my live one so you can see that. So you can see that I have my favorites right here. It's just really quick. If I want to see something, I can just click here and it'll automatically populate that. And if I don't want to be here anymore, I just click on home. And then I have my recent programs. This is where I have been. So, for example, I was just in Curriculum Master. If I needed to get back to that, I'd just go click here and it would take me back to Curriculum Master. And then I don't use this anymore, but whenever I was a teacher and whenever I worked in student information systems, I did use a lot of the print queue. And the print queue is just really great. If you've ran class rosters in the past, you either printed them and lost them, you could go to the print queue and pull them back up. So that's really great to have. And then you have specific teacher widgets. As a teacher, my two favorite to use were recent messages and teacher quick access. So basically what recent messages are is parents can send you messages in Skyward Student. And so when they do that, you don't always get an email. And so if you have recent messages populated, you can see them whenever they do send a message. And then teacher quick access. I taught secondary. I had 7 different grade books. So a lot of the times it was I had to take attendance every single class period. Well, with teacher quick access, you have a grade book column and you have a yellow bell. And you can click on that yellow bell to take attendance, or you can click on the grade book to go into that grade book. So now I'm going to go into gradebook categories. So per district regulations, these are our gradebook categories. First to second grade is 100% all grades. Third through fifth grade is 60% minor and 40% major. And sixth grade is 60% major, 40% minor, and then 7th through 12th grade is 60% major and 40% minor. You will also notice that our SIS team actually put in helpful tips as well. At least one grade will be taken for each subject each week. At least 2 minor assignment grades and 2 major grades will be taken. And then for our 7th through 12th grade, students will receive a minimum of 6 grades per grading period. So I am going to pull up a gradebook. So this is my training database. I know this is my training database because it's green. So I'm going to go to Teacher Access in my gradebook. And I'm going to click on this math fourth. I'm going to click on gradebook. And then it's going to populate this screen. So I am a person, I like to work smarter, not harder. So I'm going to choose a score method. I'm going to base grades on percents assigned to categories. And click save. And here are the categories that I have to choose from. So this is fourth grade. So my category weights need to be 60% minor and 40% major. So I'm going to add and edit categories. I'm going to unselect the ones that I don't want to use, and then I'm going to update my major to 40%, my minor to 60%. You can see that the percent is 100, so I am good to go there, and I'm going to click save. And then I'm actually going to change the score method back, and I'm going to do base grades on percents assigned to categories by grade period. And the reason why we do this, and the reason why I advise to do this, is, do you see click here to modify? So if you don't do it by grade cycles, then if there is an error with your percentages, you have to contact student information systems to have them correct your percentages. Versus this way, if there is something wrong, I can click here to modify, and then I can update my own percents and I don't have to contact them. So I'm going to go back, and now I have my gradebook. So I don't actually like this gradebook. So if you see, I have a lot of blue going on up here, and that's a lot of blue going on. And I used to, honestly, if it's later on in the school year, I do call it the big blue, um, and that's just something that I came up with. So I'm actually going to change my display settings, and I'm going to go to grade period display. And I just want to see cycle 1 because that's the cycle that we're in. So I'm going to hide all and make sure that I click progress report 1. In cycle 1, you'll see cycle 1 is grayed out because that's the current one. And then you'll see the blue one is progress report 2. I'm going to save it. And so now that's a little less intimidating. It's not as bad. I can also change my assignment display. I usually just leave it on default, but there are different options that you can choose. You can choose to show more characters. You can show comments to all assignments. Again, this is your choice. This is just changing the gradebook that you want, how you want it to look. And then I'm going to go to student display. You can see right now I have gender, the student name. If I wanted to, I could show the student ID. I could show the grade level. And then I can also differentiate my sorting. I am not going to show the student ID, But I'm going to click on student indicators. If the student has an indicator, you'll see it. I'm going to click save. The student doesn't have an indicator. And our student indicators are, it's like S for SPED, 5 for 504, A for at risk, different things like that. So the next thing that I am going to show you is assignments. I'm going to add an assignment. I am going to do major. So I can do a test description. That's just what I'm calling the assignment. And then the detailed description, if you wanted to, you could actually type out, this is the worksheet we did over PIMDAS. And you could even put a link there if you want. I actually don't know if you can put the link, but you could copy and paste a link. And that just, this detailed description is not mandatory, but it allows either you to remember what assignment it was, the student or the parent to know what that assignment is. And then we have the assign date. So what is the date that it was assigned on? So I'm going to go to August 28th or August 15th. That is a Tuesday. And I'm going to say the proposed due date is August. I'm going to say the 20th, which is a Tuesday. And then the actual due date, let me make sure that I have what. So the actual due date is the date entered for the assignment receiving an extension. An example of that would be when you, an example of when you would enter an actual due date is when you had to inclement an inclement weather day and just did not get to the assignment on the proposed due date. So you don't have to do the proposed due date. It's just an option. Let me find. Nope. Okay. And then down here, you can actually choose the classes you want the assignment to go to. This is math 4th grade, so I'm just going to leave it in 4th grade. But if you had all 6th grade math, you can do all of the 6th grade, and you're only having to enter the assignment once. So I'm going to save and back. So here I can start entering grades. And there's 2 different ways that you can enter grades. You can click on the asterisk and you can enter the grade. You can also enter an assignment. You can also enter if it's a no count. So, for example, the student was out for a health reason and you don't want it to count against the student, you can do a no count. Or you can do missing. So if the student is missing a grade, you can click on missing and it will send a notification to them if they have their notification set up for their Skyward. I'm not going to do either. And so now this student has a grade. The other way that you can do entering grades is quick scoring. And that, if I have multiple assignments, that's going to open up all of my assignments. So then I can just go through here and enter the grades for the students that need grades. If I needed to enter a special code or something, I could double click. And then it pulls up this special code box, or I can put, I'm going to put this was incomplete and then save. And I'm going to save and back. You can see that now that it is a little bolded. If you hover over it, it just tells you what you did. So you marked it as incomplete. And if I'm going too fast, please let me know. The next thing that I will discuss is the new button. So because it is the first 6 weeks, I'm going to click on this button and some of the options that are in the guides you will not see. So, for example, in the guide, we talk about option 1 a lot, option 2 as well, and then option 3 is talked about a lot, and option 5 is briefly talked about. So, option 1, when a student is moved from one section to another, so for example, the student was in your first period class and moved to your fourth period class. If you have all of the same assignments in first and fourth period, you would be able to use this button and it would automatically transfer all of those assignment grades. Option 2, if one student moved from one class to another, so they were, and I'll use an example because I saw a lot of secondary teachers use this. If the student was in 7th grade at Goddard and then they moved and they were now in 7th grade at SJ, that teacher could grab the grades that way. Manually enter term scores. This is really help. I can't do anything because we're not at the exact end. But when the office gives you grades, you'll just go in here and you can put them in, especially if they're 6 weeks grades. Option 4, we don't use this option. And then option 5, enter a starting grade percent for a current term. So for example, if the student comes in this late in the 6 weeks and they have a starting average, you could click here and you could, I'm going to say 85. And so the student start date is 9/1. So that's what the counselor put on their end. That's when they started your class. And then you could overwrite any existing scores and you would be able to, that would just populate all of your assignment grades. If for some reason you don't know how to find the assignment grades, or if the student, and I have seen this, goes from one special to another, so they are going from computer to fine arts, and they're no longer going to take computer class, but you need that computer class grade for fine arts. If you click on the student's gender and go to class summary, I would change your display options to show class key, class description, and teacher, and then show drop classes. And here you'll see that this student has an asterisk, and that's indicating that it was dropped. So you would be able to see those other class grades, and then you can also click on the hyperlink and see the assignment grades. And I'm going to go back to this to make sure that I did not forget anything. Grade change request real quick. So teachers, I'm not sure why this is still showing. Oh no, I stopped sharing. I'm sorry. Sorry. I was just trying to hide this down here, or hide this down here, and it wasn't going away. So a grade change request. Teachers will need to do a grade change request if the office staff at their campus gives them a grade difference to correct, or if the cycle has closed for the term, they will need to change this, and they need to change the student's grade. So this is after the end of the 6 weeks. You come back and you find little Johnny's paper that they turned in and they didn't put in the right place. You would go to that cycle. So for this example would be CY1, go to options, grade posting status, and then you would request a grade change. From here, you would explain why you need to do a grade change request. So for example, little Johnny didn't put the paper in the correct folder. I would write that down there and then click yes to proceed. So what this does is it opens up your grade book. And you can go in and you can modify the grades, the assignments, if you need to. And then to complete the grade change request for the office to approve it, you'll go to options, grade posting status for the term again, but then you would just complete the grade change request. And that is it. So if you do have questions, it's actually not our department you reach out to. It is syshelp@midlandisd.net. I just worked in that department for a very long time and just thought I would give this training to y'all. And I'm open for questions as well.
Awesome. And while we're waiting on anyone who wants to drop a question in the chat, or if you want to turn on your mic and answer some questions, I'll go ahead and close out this recording of Tech Tuesday. So if you're watching online later, we just want to thank you for joining. But if you're here with us live, feel free to stick around as soon as we say goodbye. So thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you next time.